The first cookbooks that I ever acquired were the ones that were passed down to me. They were given to me by my mom or my parents. My husband's grandmother had given us a choice of some of her cookbooks when she was moving. I feel like people acquire cookbooks and eventually get to these points of wanting to slim down their collection or their inventory. And it's really, really common for us to be gifted at least one, if not multiple cookbooks in our life. I've been given like specific cookbooks, like Joshua Weissman's cookbook, because he's one of my favorite YouTube creators. And so that was a gift from Christmas. And then I am a huge Gilmore Girls fan, and my sister-in-law gave me this awesome Gilmore Girls themed cookbook. I am an astrologer, so I have a astrology cooking and signs cookbook that was also gifted to me. So I have been given a lot. Some have stuck over the years. All of the ones that I just named to you are all my favorites, and they're all on my shelf. But there are some that I also eventually passed on. I will say that one of the cookbooks that was gifted to me that I feel like is in, I don't know, almost every home in America. This at least crossed your path in this life if you were in modern America in the last, I don't know, 40 years, I would assume. But this is the Better Homes and Garden cookbook. It's the red and white gingham pattern. This is a relatively new version edition of it. This particular one came from my husband's grandmother, but we also had like the same, basically identical thing my entire life growing up. My mom still has that one because it's awesome. I'm not going to lie. We probably pull this out almost first and foremost as equally as we pull out our phones to Google a recipe. It's just a really good standard base that is organized really, really well. And it just has a little bit of every basic in it. Is everything in here going to be the most like exotic and flavorful? Like, no. And are there way better ways to make like all kinds of these recipes? Yeah, of course. But when you're trying to get just a basic idea of what you need or what the process would entail, I love a good, solid, all-encompassing cookbook. It doesn't have to be literally this exact one necessarily, but I have found that it has really stood the test of time. And even though it's this like silly thing that it just collected dust on so many of our shelves, it really, as an adult who's used it so many times, I'm like, you know what? This puppy ain't bad at all. Now, if I had to pick my next favorite cookbook, it would probably be this one. I'm checking around to make sure that that's true. It would probably be this one. This was a book that I asked for. I asked for this for a Christmas gift, maybe an anniversary gift. I can't remember. My husband gave it to me as a gift because I asked for it. I found it on Amazon. It's the Power Foods cookbook. This, it's by Whole Living Magazine. It was published in 2010, and I probably asked for it and got it in 2014 or 2015. It's a bunch of healthy recipes. And at the very beginning, it's really Power Foods is what it's centered around. It's centered around not just literal superfoods, but power foods. So just really nutrient dense foods. The recipes in here are extremely straightforward, very simple, and very unique. Again, nothing is grand and over the top here, but it's really, really solid. And if you are a food photography person at all, like I am, it is very, very gorgeous. This has some of my most favorite recipes in the world, including my favorite recipe for banana bread. This is the best banana bread recipe ever, ever, ever. I love traditional, super sticky sweet banana bread as much as the next person, but I love a banana bread that I can eat for breakfast and doesn't give me like a sugar crash. This is lightly but perfectly sweetened. And the only thing that I do differently in this recipe, and I've been doing it different for years, is it calls for 2 medium bananas and a large whole egg plus a large egg white. And I just do 1 whole egg because I don't like wasting the yolk. So I just do 1 whole egg, skip the egg white, and throw in an extra banana, which is nice because it just adds more moisture and more natural sweetness to the bread anyways. But it is delicious. We don't do the nuts in ours. It calls for walnuts. I don't mind nuts in my banana bread, but in my house, I'm outvoted in that. And so it's not a big deal. I don't throw nuts in these most often, but it is delicious. The texture, it's hands down one of the best breads. But that's what I love about this book. It has a lot of great, healthy recipes that are healthy and delicious all on their own. It's not like a restrictive diet book. It's just really solid, good recipes for really high nutrient dense foods, which I love. They also have one of my favorite recipes in here is this salmon toast on multigrain bread. Some of these pages are even fallen out because I've opened and closed this and gone through it so many times. The breakfast section in here, I love turning to this when I am feeling in a breakfast rut and I just need simple inspiration for some good high protein, healthy breakfast in the morning. I love the power foods. That's why there's so many notes in it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Highly, highly recommend. So those, books that have been gifted to me that have stuck around with me serve this beautiful purpose. And that's really, really obvious. But I have acquired some other cooking recipe resources that I don't think as many people think about necessarily. And the first place I want to start are magazines. Magazines as a millennial, this was still a very quintessential part of my childhood. Magazines, catalogs. It's kind of no offense to the magazine industry, because I have a big, deep, long-term love for magazine publishing companies. I used to work for one, actually. But magazines are kind of a dying breed because so many more things are going digital. But the beauty of this is so many magazines are doing their work in digital form. So if that's you, super easy to access that way. But if you're like me and you love the tangible, the real physical thing, magazines. So there's a couple of ways you can take advantage of magazines. When we moved to our new home in New Hampshire, I wanted to sign up for a couple of extra magazines just because we had a new house that we were decorating. And I like to decorate over like a very long period of time because I like to thrift items and I like to find special things that we add once we've kind of decided where furniture is going to be. So our decorating process is very long term, but I knew that I was going to need some inspiration for that. And I also am always looking for new ways to have recipe inspiration. So I was like, I'll just I'll get a subscription to a couple of magazines that kind of do both. A couple of my favorites, I'm a huge Real Simple fan. I've loved Real Simple for probably 13 years. This has been one of my favorite magazines. Really great lifestyle magazine. It's, I don't love everything in it cover to cover. That's the thing about magazines. There's going to be stuff you flip through that you're like, yeah, whatever. And the ads and stuff like that. But we're already scrolling past ads and social media and stuff like that. It's no big deal. And they always have a unique way of collecting and categorizing recipes every single issue. So because magazines are always having to put out new content, you're in a magazine title like Real Simple, you're getting this little collection of recipes every single month in their little food section. The creative director and writers have to be, the editors have to be creative. They have to come up with new, fresh ideas themselves that readers aren't going to be like, oh my God, again. And so it's such a great way to get inspiration because they repurpose things, get new ideas. Think of things that you never would have really thought about before. There's a lot of fusion recipes, a lot of hacks and convenience tips and tricks, because the beautiful thing about magazines is they're also taking into context all of their readers' feedback over years and years while they've been putting out recipes. And it helps them create new ideas. So if you're feeling stuck in a rut, magazine recipes can be some of the best way to get out of that, because their job is to be creative and unique. I do also like Better Homes and Garden, just because I like it's pretty, and I like the home and garden inspiration, and it's like that's a very like Venetian activity for me. I love, like, on a slow Friday afternoon, like flipping page by page through Better Homes and Garden and kind of like visually manifesting. And they also have great recipes in every single issue as well. And just like Real Simple, they're really unique, cool, creative, new ideas. Magazine subscriptions cost money, though, right? This costs money, and it's ongoing. It's, not everybody can do a magazine subscription. Something else you can do is buying a single one-off magazine. So something I like to do is keep an eye out when I'm standing in line at Target or the grocery store or whatever, and I'm just like already standing there looking at food magazines, or, you're looking through the celebrity magazines, your eyes are there, you're looking, you're scanning. If you see some type of recipe collection or food title that catches your eye. So I was this was when I was living in Colorado and I was at Sprouts, and I saw, maybe it wasn't Sprouts, maybe it was Kroger. Anyways, I was standing in line and saw this title for 100 best casseroles. And I was instantly like, oh my God, I'm always looking for, a different way to do a casserole. Casseroles are so helpful in the winter. It's so warming, so comforting, so easy to make ahead, easy to freeze, easy to reheat. The leftovers are wonderful. I'm always looking for new casserole ideas. So when you tell me you have 100 best casseroles magazine, and I'm like, I know for a fact I'm going to use I'm going to use that a bunch. I bought this in 2015, and look at what good condition it is in, because I love this. And I mean, you can also see like the different smudges and things like that, but I keep this with the books. I take good care of it, because this is treated just like a cookbook in my house. And I have used so many recipes in here directly, and it's also inspired so many of my own unique recipes and ideas. This has been one of the best purchases ever. And in 2015, it was $9.99 for this, which is the fraction of the cost of a lot of cookbooks. Comes with just as many wonderful recipes and ideas. And, it's got different categories within this. There's a whole brunch section, a make-ahead section, make and freeze, a veggie section, a ground beef section, a 5-ingredient section. It's awesome. It's been the gift that's kept on giving for 10 years now. So don't ignore those little magazines when you're standing there. Anyways, those can be a good investment. And lastly, this is a free one. This, as you can see by the couple of tabs, this is another recipe magazine that I have referenced more than once, that I've come back to, and that I saved right alongside all of my cookbooks. And I got this for free at our local Hannaford. Check your local grocery store, because lots of local grocery stores offer some type of recipe inspiration. Sometimes it's handheld, tangible, physical magazines like this that you can just grab at the checkout line. Sometimes you can grab it at the front door when you walk in next to the grocery carts. But don't forget to check your grocery store app. Our grocery store apps out here for our major grocery store chains all have a whole section dedicated to looking at unique recipes. And they also, a lot of them have a really easy function of like adding the ingredient items right over to your shopping list as well to make it even easier. A couple of our favorite recipes came out of here. This shrimp scampi casserole was amazing. casserole. And these lemon maple chicken drumsticks were delicious. Instantly put a sticky note on that one after we tried it for the first time. So check into free resources like this. You would be surprised at how many of them there are. Something else that I love to do is I like to check used bookstores, thrift stores, and the library. Before we moved, or when we were in the process of moving out here, one of my favorite things to do is go to a used bookstore anyways. But while I was there, I made a point to go over to the cookbooks. And while I was looking at the cookbooks, I was struck with this inspiration because I saw this great New England recipes. We were moving from Colorado to New Hampshire, and I saw this and I was like, what a cool way to like learn a little bit more about the locale and the culture, and then through its food and collected recipes of the region. That's exactly what this cookbook is. This is not unique in that way. There are regional, geographic cookbooks like this for every locale out there. I can like almost 100% guarantee it. I can 99.9% guarantee it. There are a million of these. This is a collection of New England recipes and the cooks who made them famous. And each recipe comes with a little spiel about the person, the cook, the chef who created them, and a little bit about the dish itself. It is not just a cool way to try out some new recipes. It is a really cool way to learn more about the region in which you live, especially if you are moving or moved to a new region. And even if you haven't, even if you live somewhere where you've lived your whole entire life, this is a great way to deepen your understanding even more about where you live. Used bookstores and thrift stores practically give these books away. It's not literal, though. You do have to pay for them, but it's a fraction of the cost of full cost cover price. It is a great way to, it's great for the environment when we buy used books. So don't forget to check your thrift store and your local used book shop. They can also be consignment stores as well. And then lastly, just like I said, the library. These are just the 3 library cookbooks I got this week. I usually get at least one cookbook every week or every 2 weeks when I go to the library. This time, my focus was on basic, fast, easy, but still, delicious and fun. I am a big fan of Tasty. I have loved Tasty's recipes, like online. If you follow Tasty, I think that they're by Buzzsprout. I love Tasty. They have a focus on easy and manageable recipes, but done well and done right, but also done practically. This has been awesome. Not only has there been a bunch of great recipes in here, a ton of them have this this page that right here, this page that follows them. So it's like, here's how to make these zucchini fritters. And then you turn the page and it's like, make it meal prep. Here are 4 different ways to eat those zucchini fritter leftovers throughout the week, which I am a person who appreciates visual inspiration about how to repurpose a recipe and leftovers like that so much. This has been amazing. I also got Bare Minimum Dinners. This is by Jenna Helwig. The focus here is on recipes and strategies for doing less in the kitchen. So again, it's right in line with the theme that I've been going with. I'm, really trying to up my weeknight cooking inspiration. And this has been delicious and very, very inspiring so far. And then lastly, I got an old classic. I got Weeknights with Jada. They have a ton. That is one of the coolest things about getting these library books or these cookbooks at the library is you can get some seriously huge, really expensive cookbooks from your favorite renowned chefs around the world for free with your library card. And here's the beauty of it. 90% of the time, I don't want to buy that cookbook anyways. I want to use it. I want to look through it. I'd love to try a couple recipes in it. But I don't need to make space for it. I would really love to get my hands on it. Don't sleep on the library, my friends. This is not going to be the last video we talk about the library, I'll tell you that much. But go to the library and get yourself some cookbooks and check out their magazine selection for the exact same reasons that we talked about all of our cooking magazines today. I hope that this offered you a little bit of inspiration. Cooking can be this really monotonous, draining, boring thing sometimes, but we do have to eat every day, and there is a way to bring fun and creativity and inspiration and magic into this. So I hope that this video helped you. If it did, make sure you give my channel a subscribe, turn on the bell so you receive notifications every time a new video drops, and make sure to follow me, That Witch Next Door. Like this video, and see you in the next one.